All right.
Now let's talk about the happiest thing instead of the maddest thing. Steaks.
Steaks.
Medium rare.
Yeah, I said steaks. I was talking about it in my house, and my dog was next to me, and she was like, "Roar!"
Oh no! Oh no!
And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Gnocchi. I didn't mean it. Not those kind. You probably still like them because they're sticks, but not the same."
And here's the thing: she'll still eat them. like she'll find like a big branch of wood outside and just like start at the end and like try to eat it,
like a candy cane.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We got, so what this was, if you missed it, and we're going to talk about everything that happened in it, so go watch it, was an 8-part miniseries of Adventure Time focusing on the past, present, and future of Marceline the Vampire Queen. We've basically gotten nearly every question about her answered.
Nearly.
Yeah.
We see how she became a vampire. We see what she was doing after Simon left her. I think they're pretty satisfactory revelations. I don't feel like they,
Yeah. I mean, the only thing we didn't, presumably her mom died because of the war, and Marceline survived because she's half demonic. The only thing that we were pretty left hanging on was the fate of the humans and the ship.
Yeah.
Like, that was just, dropped.
Well, what is
completely.
presumed is that they made it to Butopia and mutated.
I guess.
I think that's safe to assume, because they had the same hats.
Yeah, I mean, now we know why the
consider
humans
that.
have those animal hats. It's because they didn't want to get sucked.
Because they were bite guards.
That's hilarious. I love it.
So, in the beginning of this, Marceline goes to P-Bubs, and it's like, I don't want to be a vampire no more. It, sucks. Get it? But no, really. I hate this. And so what... So, Peebs successfully extracts her vampiric essence from her. And at the same time, a bunch of vampires who Marceline had previously killed and eaten?
Their souls.
Come back to the modern world. After Simon left her, after he completely went bananas, she apparently in the early aftermath of the Mushroom War, vampires were all over the place, and they seem to follow pretty basic rules: no sunlight, no garlic. Their specific power sets vary from vamp to vamp, but they're bad news all around. And she was trying to protect people from vampires the same way that Simon protected her from the dangers of the world. Is her, trying to give back to the world the best she could. And what we find out is that every time she staked a vampire, she could suck up their soul and gain their powers, exactly like Mega Man.
Well, she got that from her daddy. At first, when she did that, I was like, the fuck? But then I remembered about her daddy, and I was like, okay.
It's the soul suck powers that she gets from being demonic.
But otherwise, he never gave her a squat.
No. That is another thing we still don't know about her, is, the details of her relationship with her dad. Like, when did her dad introduce himself into her life?
Because it seems like he was a deadbeat piece of shit from the jump. And I feel like if...
but he insists that he loves her, even though he, didn't. That's what I want to know more about their relationship, because it doesn't make...
Yeah.
It doesn't fit into this timeline just yet.
And I appreciate that they didn't go there, because usually with this big backstory stuff, it's you're gonna find out everything, but it's no, they really focused on the story they wanted to tell and showed us and told us the information that was crucial to this aspect of her life and her growth, and they didn't overblow it. There was 2 scenes in this whole thing with her mom. And they both made me cry.
Yeah, I mean,
super great.
That's the kind of thing that I realized about Adventure Time. I'm just I don't think we're ever going to know everything. The show really isn't about solving mysteries and answering questions. It's not going to all of a sudden all of our questions will be answered and it'll be great. That's not what the show does, and it's never what it's been about. So you just kind of have to go with it and accept that that's what the show is.
Yeah, I feel like they've really underutilized Hunson Abadir. I feel that they haven't done that much with him. In fact, I feel like they've done the same thing with him 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like I felt like he's such a seemingly crucial figure in the entire world that I would believe that they wouldn't want to use him so much, because otherwise he might become like too important to the show, because he's the Demon King. Like, that seems like anything he's doing would probably be hella important, and they wouldn't want that to overshadow everything else going on. Very good choice of words,
because he is the king of hell. One of the, I think, most disappointing episodes, or one episode that I don't care for especially, is Daddy's Little Monster, because I just felt like the whole Marceline Hunson thing was almost a beat-for-beat retread if it came from the Nightosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did a graphic novel, which was Marceline Seeing Red, and it was also fine, but like really going through the same thing. It feels like there's kind of not that much they can do with him within the currently given constraints of the show. And actually, one thing that I think is interesting, like, in season 2, which is when he was first introduced, it came from the Nightosphere, we learned that the divide between Marceline and the dad comes from, the whole eating the fries thing, which is, which is a combination of early Adventure Time's very kind of low-impact storytelling and really goofy humor, combined with maybe a metaphor. But if you listen to Rebecca Sugar's original demo, there is a whole verse before that. It's like, Daddy, why did you leave me, and everything.
Yeah.
Why did you make me if you weren't going to take me for a burger and shaky? Which is a lot more interesting.
It is interesting.
And I feel like if they made that episode in this stage of Adventure Time, they would just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show's definitely grown.
Yeah. I don't think it was ready for that in early season 2.
No.
Honestly, like this thing in particular, Stakes really made me think about like the differences between Adventure Time then and Adventure Time now, because I feel like that I came away with this thinking like this was the best of both. Because I feel like it has a lot of the goofy bits and comedic timing and the lightheartedness
and actual adventures.
In perilous situations. The first half of Adventure Time had, and then all of the like more growth and depth and emotion that has come to become the show up to this point, like the later half of it, where we got so far. So I love it. This is one of my favorite Adventure Time things.
Yeah, I think it's really, really great. I think, like you said, it's for something that is presenting itself as like the biggest Adventure Time's ever done. It was careful to not overstep its scope.
Yeah,
it's simple. It's easy to like it could be like a comfort show. Like oh, it's like I got like a little over an hour to kill. I'll watch Stakes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great because Stakes is great.
That's what I did last night while appropriately playing Castlevania. It was very thematic.
So production history-wise, the miniseries was announced February of this year, 2015. Sort of as because of the success of Over the Garden Wall, Cartoon Network is starting to do this miniseries thing now. And
yeah, they've got another thing coming out called Long Live the Royals, which will probably premiere before this episode gets aired, because this one may take me a while because it's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
It was going to be in news, but couldn't. I mean, it's something to look forward to because Cartoon Network's got a good track record with miniseries so far, with The One.
Yeah.
And The Bombs, I guess.
Yeah,
those are miniseries.
So, in Comic-Con, Adam Muto, who is really one of the big guys of Adventure Time.
He's a showrunner now.
He's a showrunner, yeah. He revealed that the miniseries would trace its origins back to ideas that were initially developing during the show's second season. He remarked that there was this idea from season 2 about Marceline and how she got her powers to begin with. We kind of rolled with that and expanded that into 8 episodes. Because I do remember Pendleton Ward when asked, why is Marceline the vampire queen? Is there a vampire king? And he's like, yeah, she killed him. And then so they made that the story.
I forgot about that.
See, I don't remember that, but I like to imagine. I mean, who knows what the truth is, but it would be pretty funny to me if that wasn't a planned answer, and somebody asked him that, and he looked up from his Game Boy and just said that.
It's very likely.
Yeah, I that's what I'm going with until he says otherwise. That's absolutely, huh? Well, yeah, she killed him or whatever. Go away.
I'm trying to catch Lugia.
The story was developed.
How do you have a cartridge that still works? It's 2009. They all broke.
The story is developed by Kent Osborne, Pendleton Ward, Jack Pendarvis, and Muto. And we also got Jesse Moynihan on storyboards, and a bunch of other really amazing people. Emily Partridge, Luke Pearson, Akko Castuera.
Yeah, most of the team touched this.
Yeah, most of the big heavy hitters, including, of course, Rebecca Sugar,
Becky Suggs,
who Muto reached out to. Was like, hey, we need a lullaby song for Marceline's mom, and we don't feel comfortable writing it. Can you write it? And she was like, of course. She's very flattered.
No, can you write it? Yeah, okay.
all right.
No, it's not that it's not that she would be reluctant. It's that she's so soft-spoken. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
I assumed what your question was going to be, so in the time it took you to finish asking it, I wrote half of it just now. Hold on. She just has the ukulele already.
Yeah, I mean, the song is really important.
Oh, the song is so good.
It's very beautiful, and it's very important. It's sort of the whole theme message of this story. So, Rebecca Sugar, after the miniseries finished airing, made a post about her inspiration for the song. So I'm just going to read that to sort of set us up for what we're in for. She says, I was so glad to get to write the song for the Adventure Time miniseries stakes, and so honored to be cast as Marceline's mother. The song is based off an early memory of losing a stuffed animal, a black rabbit. I found it a year later, lying on its back in the garden. The sun had faded its underside, so now it had a white belly. It wasn't better or worse, just different. It was the first time I realized that things will change no matter what, even if they're left alone and stay completely still.
With that knowledge, if you listen to the song again, it's explicitly about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, even at the end, that's what it felt like it was about, just because when we finally got to hear the end of the song in the very last episode. But, before we get up to that, we can talk about, what actually happened.
Yeah.
In each part.
So, these vampos come back, and they all have...
Probably as a direct result of her losing her vampire powers.
Yeah, because, the souls were sucked into her.
Yeah.
So, and by removing the vampiric essence, it's essentially taking the soul out because they're one and the same.
Yeah. So the first episode of Marceline the Vampire Queen, it sets our stage. All this shit happens. These vampires start going amok, and these villager people think it's Marceline who's eating their cows.
It's the little roundy people villagers who we haven't seen since season, I want to say 3 episode, The Monster with Lumpy Space Princess.
They're so funny, that guy. He's like,
yeah.
Everybody has a job here.
Yeah, he was played by Kyle Kinane.
Yeah. There's some lovely moments, of course, with Marcy and PB all throughout the whole miniseries, but especially in this episode, when PB's talking to her about, and when you die, I'll be the one to put you in the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like holding her face in her hands.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, they're being as open with it as they can now. Yeah. It's not even whatever. It's just what it is.
To get ahead of ourselves a little bit, Marceline has a lot of weird dream sequences in this one, and in one of them, they're an old married couple.
It's
basically
the cutest.
Well, one of them's old.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute.
Can I just say that as much as I totally dig everything about it, it's it's so great, and it doesn't harp too much on whatever, and it tells everything just so much as it needs to tell. But the in the back of my mind, I'm just screaming, stop teasing Bubbling, just do more of it. I don't care what this show's about now. I don't care anymore. Vampires? No, kiss.
I know, it was pretty much that for me too. I was it's like a callback to What Was Missing, because she sings a song about how she's gonna bury you in the ground.
Oh, goof.
I know. I was
And I mean, it's vampires. This is 2015. You can't do vampires without sleazy romance anymore.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, Marceline has a bad trip afterwards, involving all the souls escaping her body and running amok, eating cows. she gets blamed for it, and she gets captured by the village people. Finn and Jake discover a vampire den, and then rush to try to go save her, and we have that cliffhanger with her being exposed to the sun, which starts off the next episode, Everything Stays, which is sort of like her life flashing before her eyes, which is the only episode with flashbacks, really. I thought this whole miniseries was going to be chock full of flashbacks, but it was really only just the second episode. And it starts with her and her mom, who it was very nice to know was POC, so we can count Marceline in the very small pool of POC animated characters.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was so sweet and cute, and I was.
Yeah.
And I love how they teased like the whole thing with like Hudson Abadir, where she's like, and that's how I met your dad.
Yeah, and then he said, fine, and that's how I met your dad. That's how the scene starts.
Yeah. And Marceline's just like, Mom, can I go?
Like, no, sweetie, it's dangerous.
It's nappy time. Then we get cut to, Simon leaving her, recording the videotape from Holly Jolly Secrets. We see her grow up a little bit, start killing vampires, run into some humans, go through a bunch of cool haircuts.
And we see her final confrontation with the Vampire King himself, played by Billy Blanks, who is from live action TV. He's got a cool voice, but I can't remember what he was from.
His name is, I'm pretty sure, because I looked him up, his name's Billy Brown.
Billy Brown.
Billy Blanks is the Tybo guy.
Oh.
Okay.
The fucking workout, he's a workout video man. Although
That's
I wouldn't put it past Adventure Time to cast him as a thing. I don't think it would be the Vampire King.
Yeah. So we learn is that she became a vampire because the Vampire King always outclassed her in battle, and what he did is he jumped on her stake and bit her at the same time, thereby making her the last of the vampires. Because she had eradicated the rest of them.
Yeah.
Or at least went on to eradicate the rest of the stragglers after that event.
Yeah, so we see that happen. Turns out she didn't die because she's not a vampire anymore. Joy.
But has also lost all of her Mega Man powers, which are flight, shape-shifting, invisibility, and healing factor.
And my question is, why didn't she get all the powers? Why did she only get one from each person? Because they had a lot of cool powers.
It seems like they didn't all have, it seemed like the moon was the one with the healing factor.
But she also had the ability to suck people's energy from them, mentally. And then the Empress could hypnotize people real good.
I guess, I don't know. It's like, you just get the one.
I guess.
It's like Mega Man. Those guys can do several things. But you get one thing.
Yeah.
Because it's Mega Man.
I guess so.
And then, to continue with that, to continue insisting on that connection, the next couple episodes are kind of, after the first four, I was getting okay, we're doing kind of a video gamey thing where we've got all these bosses and we're building up to the big boss. But each one is approached a bit differently, which I found refreshing.
Because they're both very different. They're all very different from each other. And they're all, it took me a while to get this, but their names all derive from tarot cards.
The upper arcana, the higher arcana, greater arcana, something. I don't know dick about tarot cards, except that they've drawn something pretty cool.
I tried to learn some stuff to see if it, matched up with anything that happened with the characters.
Major arcana,
yeah. I don't know, nothing really stood out to me as...
The wiki actually had some comparisons about, what the moon, when presented upside down, which is a fucking thing, represents deception and misunderstanding, relating to the take her back versus stake her back thing.
Yeah.
So there's all correlations, but I don't think we need to go into that. You can see all that on the Adventure Time wiki in the respective page for each character.
Yeah, but it's, it's the Fool, the Empress, the Hierophant, the Moon, and I couldn't figure out if the Vampire King was supposed to be one, because there's
he was the he was the Wheel of Time or whatever it is.
Well, no, no. See, that's the thing. His last speech, that crazy speech he did when he was making water out of clouds and ripping off his clothes. He actually mentions a bunch of different cards. He mentions the Wheel of Fortune. He also mentions the Chariot, which is another card. Flame, which is another card. He mentions pretty much like a bunch of other cards within that speech that aren't the characters we already have.
But I think specifically his design is based on like the most common art for that. Like all the animals he's made out of and shit are like found on that card, I think.
And he also mentions
I also read the wiki.
He also mentions the Scales of Fate, the Way the Scales, that's another card. Like he pretty much mentions all the other major cards like Justice in that weird speech. That's why it was such a weird speech, I guess.
I did not dig that speech. I felt it was that thing that Adventure Time does sometimes where it's just too obtuse.
Yeah. And he kind of looks like Strength, like he's got, he's a lion. Strength has a lion on it, and I don't know, if you're a real tarot junkie, you can let us know all the little details, but there was, significant research placed into this. Like, Hierophant really looks like the devil from the cards.
I liked Hierophant. He was Paul Williams.
Yeah, I liked him too.
Gosh, now I just want to listen to Random Access Memories, although I always do, so that's no different.
It's what you need to do after this. You're probably doing it right now.
I have headphones on, you can't prove I'm not.
I know Empress was Rebecca Romaine, and the Fool was Ron Funches. The Moon, I don't know if that Bo Billingsley or something, I don't know if that person is a known entity.
He voiced Jet in Cowboy Bebop.
Oh,
dub.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck. It was Jet.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's known.
The only notable for me role I noticed from the Vampire King Billy Brown, I just sort of scrolled through his stuff that he did, and I was like, oh, he was in Jet Set Radio.
That's so weird.
As DJ Professor K, but I don't know who that is because I didn't actually play those games. I just know of them, and I was like, oh, huh.
And so
now,
she's able to take out the Fool pretty easily because he's a Nimrod.
It's in his name. He's like, smell my feet. Smell them.
Check this out. My face looks like a butt.
The Fool's all right.
Yeah. And then the king fucking mouse gives him a deep kiss. A deep sucky kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the best goof though, before we even meet the vampires, is when, they're in the house, they're trying to figure out what's going on. The headquarters is PB's cabin, right? Finn and Jake are there, Marceline are talking. They're trying to figure out what's going on with these people and their cows. And Jake actually, he was left behind at the den and got to see these people all playing their weird respective instruments. And so he's trying to describe to Peppermint Butler these vampires that he's seen. And it's like the longest sequence of the whole episode. It lasts like 5 minutes.
One of them was like if a baby snake was a baby.
Nope.
One of them looks like no, that's not right. Same thing every time. Empress was black drapes on a cake pop. My favorite was Hierophant, which is one of them looks like a wet uncle. And the Moon is one of them looks like if an anthill was a girl. and like Pep Bup is just drawing these because they're the worst police sketch descriptions in the world. And then Vampire King was a stop sign was coming out of a loaf of bread.
And that one kind of
worked.
That one kind of worked, and then Marceline realized what the hell was going on. It was like, oh shit. And then Pet Butt broke out all his vampire gear that he had saved just in case Marceline fucking lost it.
It's like the kryptonite ring that Superman gave Batman.
Yeah.
Only this time Superman was not aware.
But didn't really care either way. It was like, whatever, it's an important thing to have.
In the time that it would take Batman to put a ring on his finger, Superman could throw the Earth into the sun.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Well, pre-Crisis Superman definitely could.
Yeah.
Let's not even. Can we? Ooh, I'm mad
at yourself for bringing up Crisis?
I'm just mad at myself for talking about superheroes because I've been done with them.
Yeah.
So
the Empress goes, wants to get her harem of mind slaves back and servants and everything.
She wants the good blood with the gold flakes in it.
The gold flakes were always stupid.
What's the name of that schnapps that with the gold flakes?
It's not Goldschlager.
Goldschlager. She wanted her Goldschlager blood.
It doesn't taste like anything. So she goes to the Ice King and tries to hypnotize him because she remembers Simon. Simon obviously does not remember her.
Yeah, apparently she did it before she hypnotized him when he was more himself. And they had history, so she was like reading his diary entries from way back when of their last encounter, and I mean, it was both funny and sad, because, I mean, like, the first thing she says...
Because it's Ice King.
Yeah, like, the first thing she says when she opens the book, she's like, so sad.
Ice King is tragically hilarious.
But Ice King is very suggestive. Probably the most suggestive he's ever been. Like, everything that comes out of his mouth is, like, kind of a sex thing.
He's like, maybe I'll get to bite you next or something?
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know, I mean, I like where this is going so far.
I like where this is going.
So he's into it. He's not actually hypnotized. He's just...
No, that's the bit at the end. He's not. He's never been hypnotized. He's just super down.
Oh, my favorite thing is, Simon, you gotta resist her, but she's a woman.
We actually see Simon be real. I like how everyone just calls him Simon now. Like, nobody calls him the Ice King. Not even Finn.
Because at this point, like, after season 3 and a bit beyond, like, Finn and Jake, like, they realize what his deal is. They realize that he's not just a jerkwad. He's a pathetic, like truly tragic.
Yeah, they just sort of came to the realization, like, oh, maybe just beating the shit out of this old man isn't cool.
Yeah. No. Like, I love how at the end where the Empress rejects Simon and Finn is just like, come on, Simon, it'll be okay. Let's go get you some ice cream.
No, he looks back. No, come on this way. The best goof in the first Adventure Time game, Hey Ice King, why do you steal our garbage, is that each boss has like a subtitle under them, like Zelda style, and under Ice King it's a complicated jerk.
Yeah.
Super accurate.
And we actually get to see Simon be pretty, like, smart, though, in this episode. Like, how he freaks Finn out with the breaking of the twigs, and how he fakes them out by pretending to remember shit and then binding them with his ice. Like, he's pretty
devious when
he's a devious raccoonus.
He's devious when he's, working under the promise of tail.
Yeah.
And then
that bit with the outdoor clock.
That was so weird.
You know what that was?
What?
That was Achewood.
Yeah, it was like, what?
Yeah, there's an Achewood which is absolutely fantastic about how everybody has a childhood drum, and they reminded me of that.
All right.
Oh man, yeah, that's honestly, I did kind of think like that's. I'm sure Nikki likes that.
Yeah, I was just confused. I was like, I don't understand.
Oh no, is it PB's outdoor clock? He knew what it was. It's like people know about it.
Entity. That
means she brings it up in casual conversation.
But it means several people have them.
And Finn was like, "Oh man, her Uncle Gumball gave that to her, dude."
That's the Empress. Next is the Hierophant.
Yeah. Oh, and PB comes in and saves the day because Marceline can't hunt vampires by herself.
Yeah, she tried to go it solo. The Hierophant, they run into LSP, which is great because we haven't seen her very much.
Yeah.
Recently. Nah, she's still running around in the woods.
Yeah.
You guys hunting wabbits?
And then when they make her into the spiky ball,
they make her into the spiky ball, and then they make Finn into tantalizing bait, and it's the best ever.
That's probably one of my favorite
greatest bit.
Finn bits in a long time. His hair is so long. Like, it was short in the beginning of the season. Now it's like voluptuous again. And he's just like, oh, man.
He's presenting himself as a tantalizing piece of boy meat.
My neck is so hot. Ooh, I gotta get some air. Oh! Like pretending to tug on the string, like I'm so vulnerable.
We learned that the Hierophant follows old school rules, like he's got to be invited into houses.
And Petbutt is like totally takes advantage, like, ha ha! You stupid vampire!
Like, you dumb
old revenant! I had to Google what that meant.
Oh my god.
You clearly don't play enough video games.
I don't.
That's where I learned what Revenant means. Revenant, Shaman, all that shit.
So they encounter each other eventually. There's some texting, which is interesting. It's a new thing to the world of Adventure Time.
Well, in the episode where like LSP and Marceline went on like a day out together, they were texting P-Bubs.
Yeah, Princess Day, I think that was.
Oh,
yeah. Princess Day. There was Princess Day. They were texting.
Right. So they prepare for Hierophant. It's very hilarious because everyone's so gung-ho to kill everything. And they're all awful at it.
They're so roided up.
They're like, I kill you now!
Your Finn was getting back in a groove. And like, he was like, it's against my code to strike... Oh, this is later. It's against my code to strike a foe, raising his butt to the sky. And then almost everybody's like, man, we should have staked him.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, because like that was another one of my favorite lines where Marceline's just like, Dema your rules. And his reply is, Dema good rules, dough.
There was a lot of multi-languages going on in this
A lot of
miniseries.
Adventure Time-isms.
I mean, there was a lot of Spanish, there was some German, there was a little bit of Japanese. I think when Peppermint Butler gives Jake the bucket of snacks, Jake is like, does he say like de nada or gracias? And then Pep-Up is like, domo, like, and then we cut to PB like doing the fucking German military jumping jacks.
Oh, another thing to back up a bit, is that this episode has another usage of a pre-existing licensed song, and that is a theme to Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah, like that seems to be a thing that like Marceline flashbacks have sitcom openings.
Yeah, old-ass sitcom openings. I think it's interesting that, like, you know, after the world ended, that was some of the very little culture that was left over. Because that was the whole thing with Two Bread Tom. It was like, you know, we've got to keep our culture alive. Streets on China. That's all they have. Is sitcoms.
God, I swear, they need to do the Friends theme.
Oh my god, they can't though. No.
I don't know what networks.
It's too fresh.
Cheers.
Friends is too fresh. Still.
Is it?
Oh, what would be dope? Well, it would actually be just a great opportunity to hear this song again. It's if they did Wonder Years.
No.
Oh yeah, that's a real song though.
Yeah, that's the Joe Cocker cover of A Little Help from My Friends, which is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hierophant's like, look, I just want to talk. I don't like the Vampire King. He's a dink, and he doesn't like my old school ways. And they just keep throwing shit at him hilariously and failing.
And then Jake becomes a house.
Because Jake gets a text from when he goes to hide like a coward, because his fear of vampires from season 1 comes back in full force. Because like, remember how I said my fear of vampire was based on ignorance? Yeah, well, I learned that presumption was based on true ignorance, on right to be afraid. So anyway, he's tiny. He sees Pub's phone and gets to text like he follows old school bullshit. Like can't go into a house, so he becomes a house.
And houses them safety.
And like Finn sticks his face out of the house. He's like, "I'm full of hot, fresh teenage boy blood." And then he gets back and he's like, "Huh?" Peeves is annoyed, but Marceline gives him the skin. And also in this episode, the King of Vu, the grade A son of a bitch he is hunting Crunchy for sport.
Oh yeah. Because that's something that kings do.
Yeah.
He's so foppish with his cape and his...
Yeah. So the way how they defeat him is that Crunchy runs out of the bushes and knocks the Hierophant into the house. Like, I didn't ask to come in! Bah! And he turns into bones.
That Jake then pukes him.
And the thing is that during the fight, Hierophant, because he's got the shape-shifting powers, has a scorpion tail, poisons Marceline, so she gets real sick, which is the context for the next episode, where they're trying to find a cure and send Finn and Jake out to deal with the moon themselves.
Yeah.
Because Pep-Up has a poison lab at the castle.
And it's like, oh, I get poisoned all the time. For research.
I get poisoned just doing the dishes. So Finn and Jake are trying desperately to kill the moon. It doesn't work. They just like stab her.
The moon is probably the most interesting vampire. She has this weird thing on her head that I guess is an ear.
It looks like a pussy.
I'm like, what is that supposed to be?
It barfs pearls.
No, it doesn't. Like, at the end of the Vamps About, we just kind of saw her float away, and they just kind of
plop
out of her.
Oh,
like she's Okami or something. Like, she just leaves beautiful things in her wake. Like, okay. But she's hanging out in some little, what's the word for it?
Pontoon.
The
moon's pontoon.
The moon's pontoon.
She's hanging out in the shops in Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Sleeping in a vase. Apparently her powers are directly connected to the moon. Like, when she wakes up, she's like, "You're standing in my light," and like.
It's very hard. I watched Stakes twice. I understood almost none of what she said.
I understood it all the second time. Basically, a lot of threats, and how do you expect to defeat me when you're running in my light? And ha 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 ha.
Stop slapping my butt, man.
Meanwhile, PB is like freaking out because Marceline's sick. And she's like, "It's all my fault." And everybody's like, "No, it's not. Why do you say that? It's not your fault at all." And she's like, "No, it is. It's hubris."
You're gonna have a hubris, Jake.
You're gonna have a hubris.
He said, no, Finn said hubris.
Hubris. They go to the lab, brilliantly, Princess Bubblegum just breaks in. It's just like, "Hey, dipstick," and just like drop kicks him.
Yeah, chest face.
Chest face. And like, untie Crunchy and do all this shit.
Hey, Princess, should we listen to him? No! Okay.
The Banana Guards are so happy that she's back. They start crying and they have a cute hug. And it's so cute. And like, PB's like, "We're all very sad that Marceline is sick." And they're like, "Well, not really. I don't really care about her. We're sad. We're happy that you're back." Eventually they meet up after misunderstandings. They burst in the room. The moon is terrifying, telling everyone to die like pigs. PB goes into the romantic bunker to shield her and Marcy. Marcy has that awesome dream.
Were they married?
Oh, what about the dream in the beginning of that episode?
With
Simon and Betty.
Simon and Betty, who make a weird pie, and
then they start burping.
And before Marceline shows up, and her haircut, I would like to describe as 50-year-old lesbian at a wedding.
I would like to describe as like diary interview with a vampire kind of look.
I want to know that. Maybe that's what it was.
But like, yeah, she definitely looked like a dude, and it was kind of weirdly specific. And then she woke up, and then the dream with PB was
Finn and Jake are burping on her.
Your parents did that not because it helped, they just liked burping on you. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I'm sorry, your parents are just burping on you for kicks. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Everything works out.
How do they kill the moon?
The moon opens the drawer. Marceline wakes up. No, Peppermint Butler stakes her in the back with a giant stake.
Yeah.
All the commotion kind of wakes Marceline up. PB's like, "Now, Marceline," she sucks her soul as she's staked.
Because that was the bit, like, because they were trying to figure out if they were told to take her back or stake her back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
they were told to stake her back.
Yeah. Stake her back.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just yell pigs at the lock until it opened?
Yes. That's a scary thing to yell at somebody, is to call everybody pigs.
Unless they're cops.
Yeah. Because you're throwing rocks at their cars. I'm going to teach my niece to do. As soon as she's old enough to hold a rock, I'm going to teach her to throw rocks at cop cars.
Okay, and then we move on to... We're done with the scrubs, basically. It's on to the king himself. We already kind of talked about it. I mean...
Well, the king has that weird speech, and what he wants to do is he wants to also not be a vampire no more.
Yeah, because he mentions this...
But it's very hard to tell that that's what he wanted to say. That's what he was saying.
Well, I mean, because he starts off with, like, this world. This isn't the world that it once was. Like, I don't belong here anymore. There's no place for me in this world, so I'm not even gonna try to pretend like I can make any kind of like existence here that matters. So I just I'm giving up being a vampire because vampires are clearly over and done with.
Yeah,
because I'm sick and tired of this. Like he's trying to plead to Marceline, like, that we're both sick and tired of this cycle that we keep seeing the world live over and over again. Like, we can break it.
Yeah, and he asked her, like, in those hundreds of years you've been alive, like, what have you noticed? And she's like, nothing changes. Everybody does the same stupid shit because they don't see the pattern, and he wants to fix it. He wants to break that cycle. And it is interesting how Marceline is so adamant about it. I mean, the guy has to fucking rip off all his clothes and start throwing a tantrum in a cloud pond before she's just like, okay.
Jeez, fine. I'll turn you into a big kitty cat.
And I love how, like, it took Finn forever to stop trying to stake him.
Yeah. Finn knocked around the Vampire King's junk.
Yeah, I didn't get the joke the first time.
It's chill.
Yeah, I didn't understand it the first time, and then
because he got hit directly in the dick a million times.
Yeah, because Finn gave him the Hyakuretsu Kyaku right in the dick.
And then it's like, stake you! Okay, bro, I'm cool now. It's like...
He gave him the second the Vampire King had, like, just not to stick out his hands, like, oh, what are you gonna say?
Well, yeah, the Vampire King had, like, this cow lover the whole time.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
Who also got fixed in the process.
Yeah, because he turned the cow, and I guess they became friends. I don't know. It was kind of weird.
The cow just seemed kind of apathetic about the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like, this is fine.
Well, he didn't like when the king made him dance. He was like,
I hate dance.
I wouldn't like it either. Don't make me dance. I'm not drunk enough.
They cure his vampirism, and when they're trying to dispose of his vampiric essence, some silly slapstick happens, and it gets loose, and it turns out it's this huge dark cloud of vaguely lion-like, but really looks more like a sheep, energy. And then the episode there ends.
Yeah, very randomly.
Just like, rah! And then the ending.
With the little bat.
Yeah.
Because, we didn't mention that this miniseries had a special opening and ending.
I love that ending. It honestly reminds me of, like, the ambient Minecraft music that plays while you're playing it sometimes.
Yeah, it was
very, very soothing.
It was a really cute ending. I always look forward to it. It's like, oh.
And the opening was done by Masaki Yuasa's studio.
Really? I did not know that.
That's on this page.
Oh, I didn't see it.
So, Masaki, Science Saru.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it goes through all the same motions, but it's, all spookity themed. And, like, the Candy Kingdom has a King of Ooh being a dickhead over there.
I mean, it plays to what happens in all the episodes.
Yeah. Oh, one callback is one of the things that Two Bread Tom was talking about, like, the dangers of all the vampires, and I think he said was those hungry-looking rainbows.
Yeah.
Because the rainicorns love the taste of human meat.
Oh, my God!
Yep.
See,
I missed that.
It's so good because they just threw that up back in season 3 or whenever that was.
Yeah.
That was just a goof. It's like, humans are delicious, and now it's like, is that part of why humans are extinct is because the rainicorns eated them all.
That's always been the best thing about this show, and they go on record saying it. Like, sometimes we'll just come up with a goof, and then like a season or two later, we'll be like, let's make that real.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And it all fits so seamlessly, but there's that it looks so seamless, it's like 90% seams.
Yeah.
It's got some Muppet stitching going on there.
Yeah, so after that happens, the Marceline's like, this is what happens when I try. Whenever I try, something bad happens, and I should never try again. I'm Nikki. And P-Bubs is like, well, I'm going to fly around on my space couch and do something about it. Finn and Jake, you want to help? Yeah, definitely.
Fucking Hot Dog Princess helps.
Yeah.
In her Hot Dog Princess way.
Yeah. the hot dog nights are completely fucking useless, but she makes an effort.
They get turned into those octopus dog things you see in bento boxes.
And while this battle is going on with the Dark Cloud, there is a revolt in the Candy Kingdom. In the end result, Crunchy throws the King of Vu into a fire, because this was never explicitly stated earlier, but it's always been in the official documents that he's made out of earwax.
Really? I never knew that. I never knew what the hell he was made of.
Yeah, he's always been like that last episode with him. He like referred to like his waxy body or whatever. He's always been earwax, and I'm not sure to what end they were like going for that. But you push him into a fire and he melts, and then Crunchy get the power goes through his head. And he's like, "I am the Iron King, Crunchy," and he sends everybody out to go stop the Dark Cloud, and they're not any help either.
Yeah.
But
I mean, originally they revolt because the king was like, "Protect me, close the gates," and they're like, "No, we should do something."
Yeah, and Princess Bubblegum's out there. We love her and not you. We realize now.
Yeah.
I'm honestly just so glad, because like this was a Marceline thing, so I wasn't expecting any other kind of closure. But I'm glad the King of Vu shit is over. I was so worried we have to put up with him for a whole nother fucking season.
I thought he was hilarious.
He's hilarious, but at the same time, I was just like they kept it around just long enough, I think.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like that face that Peeps gave him when they met in the woods is fucking. That is a face full of knives.
Oh my god.
And like everybody looked at him like, "Oh, this dickhead again."
Yeah.
But Marceline was trying to look at him to death.
And then we see a little bit of Flame Princess and her boo, Cinnamon Bun, her bae.
Yeah.
He's called Bae now.
Her bae, yeah. Being cute. But accidentally burning all the candy people. So all that's just happening. Marcy's all like singing a dumb song that Simon wrote.
Yeah.
And then Simon shows up and is like, "Why do you guys always do cool stuff and not invite me?"
And he is like, she's like, "Simon, don't try to convince me to help, because I'm not gonna." And he's like, "Okay." And what does he say that accidentally convinces her?
He says that they're like rats and cockroaches.
Cockroaches, yeah, because they're survivors.
They're survivors. They're like, better to just wait this one out. That's why they've been around for so long, is that they don't get into other people's business.
Right, pal?
It's better to just be a rat. She was like, "Fuck, no, I'm not a rat."
Thanks, Simon, you dick. And then she does this cool run thing, and then there's a Sonic the Hedgehog slide that's so loud everybody looks.
Yeah. And then she becomes a magical girl.
She becomes Garuka.
She becomes Garuka. Like, her soul-sucking powers reach fucking magical girl levels. Her mouth transfers over to her heart.
And becomes a vagina dentata.
And then her whole body is rainbow.
Or a Sarlacc pit, if you don't want to be as gross. As if they're not the same thing.
Her body's glowing in rainbows and sparkling, and her hair is flowing, and I'm like, what is even happening?
Oh, you know what she looks like? A pink version of Terra's Esper form from Final Fantasy VI.
But she looks like Sailor Moon's transformation.
Like mid-transformation, yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is happening. Where this comes from, I don't know. So she sucks up the whole thing.
She turns into Kirby.
Yeah, and as it's almost
Kirby's
done,
the fuck out of it.
The vampire essence like leaves its mark on her, and she's a vampire again. Whatever.
Status quo.
Status quo. Well, that's the moral of the story.
We're gonna get back to that.
Things are great. They set Marceline back up in her house. Some Sudokus and crosswords, lipstick. PB basically proposes to her by saying that she can come live with her.
Okay, well, I mean, let's not. She invites her to move in, which is still pretty important, but let's not write the fan fiction already.
Wait, you know what's crazy is like in this last episode, come on, Marceline, we always pull through this stuff. Remember the case of the purloined egg? And
yes, I need it now.
Of a second, we flash back to some weird scene before Marceline cuts it off. Of apparently when they were the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, apparently the running gag this season is we'll never get to see any Marcy PB flashbacks. Or hear about anything they've done together.
Because you know why we'll never see any Marcy PB flashbacks? Because they're fucking in all of them.
It's so explicit.
So squishy. Gum. Gum.
You can get up in there.
Oh my god.
Every form.
She's like, did you bring protection? And she's just got a jar of peanut butter.
What?
Like when it gets in your hair.
Oh! Because I was gonna be like, bubblegum and peanut butter tastes terrible together.
I'm calling it. That is the best joke you have made in this year and a half of this show. Oh my god. Because it made me think. I'm not going to edit out that little gap where I was like, what the fuck is this idiot talking about?
It took me a while because I was like, I can't get over the terrible flavor combination.
Oh, I need a
You don't
cigarette.
eat it.
Right. Pet Butt got exploded.
They put them back together.
Put 'em back
There's a
together.
montage of everything going, of like the aftermath of everything. We see that Toronto, the little squirrel dog guy, gets away with all the gold.
Yeah.
King of Fu is not dead, but he's like a weird, slimy man.
Yeah.
So we may see more of him, but probably not as much.
Princess Bubblegum's a princess again.
She overthrows Crunchy almost immediately.
Yeah.
She's probably just like, cut it out.
Yeah, she probably gave him a hug. Finn and Jake go back to whatever they do. The farm people are happy
Fuck
again. They've
off.
got all their aminals.
LSP's presumably still homeless.
Yeah.
And this little montage is all done as Marceline sings the full version of Everything Stays. And you can cry.
Yeah, and we cried,
Yeah.
basically. I wrote it down in my little notebook, and I lost my little notebook. I'm so sad.
What would you write down the song?
I wrote back the song so I could sing it to myself when I need to cry.
Aww.
Because, like, it really... It's the kind of song that, like, came to me at, like, a perfect time, because... I don't know, I've really been feeling that sentiment in a very bittersweet kind of way, where, like... It's both reassuring and not, because on the one hand, like, everything stays, like, you can always rely on things to return to the status quo, but on the other hand, the pains of the past don't leave. They stay, you know? And I think it's a really powerful song for Marceline, because part of her whole complex is that she has been abandoned by so many people. You know, her mom died.
Her dad was never there.
Abandoned her. Now we know Simon abandoned her. You know, she's been alone for most of her life.
P-Bubs.
Princess Bubblegum abandoned her, too. She left. Their relationship didn't really turn out to anything. And to know that the song that her mother used to sing to her is a song called Everything Stays, and this is a person whose whole life it seemed like no one stayed, and to finally sort of make the realization of what it really was that her mom was trying to teach her back then. And it wasn't that people don't leave, or that everything stays exactly as it is in the moment where you're happy. It's that everything sort of returns somehow. It changes, but not that much. It's very contradictory. It's a hard sentiment to express, and Sugar does it so elegantly, where it's this stagnation yet this transformation, you know? Just, it's really beautiful, and it really spoke to me in like this particular moment in my life where I'm just like reliving a lot of shit from when I was a kid, and like realizing that exact sentiment that everything stays, even the good and the bad, and it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about the nature of the fact that this series ended in a status quo, which I think is actually, you know, most shows that's what you would expect. But something like Adventure Time, I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, at first
I assumed like, oh, well, she's not a vampire anymore, but she's gonna get all her powers back.
Yeah.
So basically, she
Me too.
doesn't have to wear a big floppy hat anymore.
Now she's Blade.
Yeah, now she's Blade. Now she's Wesley Snipes without all the criminal. Well, no, she probably has a
and
criminal
like the
record,
first
too.
time I saw the ending, I was kind of like, really? Like, that's what all this... I mean, the show, it's called Stakes, but it doesn't seem like there was ever very much stakes. Like, everything seemed very under control, and, like, it wasn't as crazy as the last season or anything having to deal with the Lich, you know? So I didn't get it, essentially, the first time I watched it, that was kind of the point.
Yeah, like, as it was leading up to it, like after day 3, I'm like, man, it really seems like she's going to end up being a vampire again. But, like, if you're watching in real time, and with that day gap in between them, you're like, man, it looks like they are going to go for the status quo, which is weird for Adventure Time. And I was suspecting maybe they were setting up for that twist where, like, it looks like we're going to go for the status quo, but this Adventure Time and things grow. But I do think that in the context of everything, the idea of it staying the same, we return to that status quo, and, like, the Candy Kingdom returned to its status quo.
Princess Bubblegum's the princess again.
Yeah.
So everything gets kind of shifted around, but ultimately falls back into this balance.
Yeah, it seems like everything
everything is like on its surface the same, but all the people, like, that's where the change is.
Exactly. It's like what she said, she grew up. You know, she thanks Princess Bubblegum for letting her grow up a little bit. Because it's all just the characters. It's internal movement. It's nothing on the outside. It's just them.
It's this thing with the rabbit Sugar was talking about. Like, the stomach changed. He got sun bleached. It's still the same rabbit. It's still in the same place.
Yeah.
And all these things that happened to it still, you know, it changed and it is the same.
Yeah.
It's very profound.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it really gets to me.
It's one of those things where you got to sit on it for it to not be a little disappointing.
Yeah, you really do. And then I realized, you know, how brilliant it was. Especially because, you know, status quo is the name of the game for most cartoons, and we complain about that a lot on this show. Tooch in particular has gone on some rants.
Well, because, like, I noticed it when I was, like, 10, so...
Yeah.
And it hasn't gone anywhere, coincidentally enough.
That one was good, too.
So it's interesting that the show kind of really, like, deconstructs and then reconstructs why the status quo exists. Not just, like, for premise levels, because it's a TV show, but, like, just in life. Yeah. And then it also being an explanation for the TV show. Because, you know, the last season was cray-cray. We needed a reset.
Yeah.
You know? And that's
Gunter's Cthulhu. That's just a thing now.
Only one of them, though. I think it was Gunther, because we saw... Because there's also, like, Gunter and Gunter, and, like, I think at this point they're canonically different penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gunthelina.
Gunthelina.
Yeah, but I guess it's like Gunther Prime, the titular Gunther.
Yeah.
The Ashes Pikachu of Gunther.
That's actually, I think, we were talking about, like, one-off goose that go to drive the plot. That was in Return. It came from the Nightosphere. It says, "You're the most evil creature I've ever seen." Rank.
Yep. Yep.
They were not planning that.
No.
Nope.
It was really
nice. This was the greatest. This is the greatest Adventure Time thing they've done in a while.
Yeah, and I like how it took me a long time to realize it, but it really had everything that you would want.
That's some of my favorite stories. Is like where at the end this one I didn't hate at the end, but like one of my favorite novels is The Old Man in the Sea, and I fucking hated it the first time. Like, what was the point of that shit? I watched this man fail at fish for 3 hours. That was the whole thing. It's about, you know, how sometimes, you know, you try as hard as you fucking can, and it never works out at all. But you got to do it again the next. It's a beautiful book, but it's frustrating the first second because it feels like nothing happens, but you know that's the whole thing. And this is something similar to that.
Yeah, it feels like nothing happened, but a little bit did, just enough for it to be significant.
Yeah.
Well, we can only hope for that in our own lives, to be honest. Like,
yeah, a
way to just grow up a little bit would be nice.
Anyway, that was Stakes. There's going to be one of those, like, there's going to be a separate DVD release of it this early next year.
Yeah.
Oh, does that mean would it not be included in the season?
I don't think
It's
so.
included in the season.
This is like one of those DVDs, like, you know, where they just put like a handful of episodes on it.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine, like, you get the season 7 Blu-ray, and like all of a sudden she's the princess again, because this 8 episodes are just missing.